Pro 2300 magnitude, the All-American section we'll get into later. Tobacco series, high-end, then 5 series, you'll have a
How's it going, YouTube? Had a lot of responses back on a video that I did for somebody's contest. I don't recall who, I'm sorry about that, but on the MacGyver contest. Wish I could remember who it was. Anyway, had a great response on that, on specifically how I rigged these Peltor Comtac II headset to work with my Midland FRS radios. So I thought I'd break it down for you and show you exactly what I used and how I did it. So to pardon me, I'm looking for some parts here. To go back a little ways and show you, here we go. Grab this thing too. Oh, well, I threw it out. Oh well, this will be good enough. So anyway, on the end of this headset, it's behind the neck headset. The Velcro strap goes over the top of your head. Actually, it should go like this. Anyway, it looks like this when it's on. Okay. And this, the end of here, what I did was take a continuity tester. You know, standard multimeter type stuff has that built into it. Usually it's a function of measuring ohms or continuity. And what I did was cut the end off the cable. This is what came on it. It's called a Nexus plug. I think it's a Nexus 7 plug. It's built primarily for helicopter intercoms. So what I did was I cut the plug off, stripped a bit of the wire back, and took a continuity tester and traced each one of these 5 wires to the end of the plug and wrote down my results. I'll show you here on this piece of paper. Don't worry about the bottom for right now. So basically what you have, and kind of ignore this as well, we're concentrating on this part right here. So basically what we have is there is a black wire, a green, a red, a white, and a yellow on the end of this plug, right? So what I did was trace these back. Turns out that the black wire was the ground for both the speakers on either side of the headset. The red and the green wire were the positive signals going to the speakers from the amplifier in the headset, and then the white and the yellow wire was the leads going to the microphone. Okay? You with me? Good. So then what I built, basically all I did was I took the plug off, obviously, and connected a new plug that has 5 terminals on it. And at the opposite end is this, which is my push to talk button. And then also on the side here, I have another one that I can plug a remote push to talk into, which is basically looks like a headphone jack, a mono headphone jack. I'll explain that in a second. So basically what I did was, I'll show you what I did, the wiring for it. It's basic, really. Okay, here's what I done. So I took the yellow and the white wire for the microphone. It shows up as gray on the schematic. I ran it to the number 5 and 1 terminals, which then become black and red wires on the inside of the box. That I'll show you the box in a second. The red button, the first big red button on that box, is the PPT. That's a switch. It's just a momentary push button switch. I have it connected one pole to that, and then down this is, this is the mono stereo plug that I was talking about earlier. Comes down, and there's another, that's the remote push to talk that you can plug in. Once you push the push to talk button, it creates a circuit. It runs to the smaller of the 2 plugs at the end of the cable, and basically this other one is the headset that shares a ground. You'll notice over here the red and the green wire both are connected to pin 3, and the ground for the headset is, the speakers on the headset is on pin 4. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Go ahead and pause it, take a screenshot, whatever. This is a bit messy. It's kind of hard to see in here, but basically what I did was I took a wire, a store-bought, it's really thirsty in here, hang on a second. And my cigarette went out. So yeah, I was saying I bought, I went to FRS Electronics, and the type of radios I have are basic, like Midland. You can buy a 2-pack of them on Amazon for like $70. It comes with a charger for both of them, and I think the model number is like 1050, FRS something 1050 or something like that. They're advertised going, having, I think it's 50 channels with 20 some odd sub-channels, and having a range of 36 miles or something like that. They actually do have fairly decent range on high power. I'm able to talk to Sultan of Shinola from my house to his house, and it's not line of sight, and it's distance-wise, it's probably about 7, as the bird fly miles. So anyway, I went down to FRS Electronics and bought, a little walkie-talkie type microphone for it, where you plug it in to the remote thing on the radio that looks, the end of it looks like this. So imagine there being a walkie-talkie at the end of this cable. Okay, so again, I took my little continuity tester and traced each of the terminals on this plug. There's 4 of them on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're separated by an insulation, that black stuff. It's basically a cable inside a cable at the base of these. Traced them back, and inside the cable we have a blue wire, a red wire, a black wire, and a white wire. So it turned out that the black wire and the white wire were the controls for the microphone, which is the smaller of the 2 plugs, and the blue and red were the headset. So if you look inside this box, it's going to be, let me get some light on the subject here. Look inside this box. I just cut, unsoldered the microphone and speaker portion, that little walkie-talkie doodad, and then basically the red wire and the blue wire here just goes straight back into this plug connected where I said they were. I think it was 4 and 5, or 3 and 4 rather. And then the black goes straight back into this plug. That's just a straight line. And then the last one is, it's going to be hard to see in there, but this is the push to talk button. Basically it has two prongs that stick up, and you got a wire soldered to each one. When you push the button, it makes a circuit. So basically what I did was I come out of where the positive for the microphone comes out from the radio or the headset into the jack, out of the jack into one side of the switch right here. I also soldered another wire to this mono jack, this mono plug. It's really difficult to see in there, and it's a shit-eating solder job too. And then another goes from that plug all the way back to here, and then to finalize that circuit, it goes straight out from the opposite side of that switch where the circuit would be created if you pushed on it, and down the cable. So if you look uno mas time at this schematic, it sort of makes sense. So you have the wires coming out of the radio into the plug, out of the plug, and follow the line from the microphone back to the jack. So if this switch isn't activated, but this one is, the current still will flow from here across, down, and out the terminals. So you have two push to talk buttons basically. So you know, I hope that helps. I will say one thing: these Peltor microphones are eclectic microphones. They're not standard dynamic, or pardon me, they're not eclectic, they're dynamic microphones. And most dynamic microphones require some type of a power amplifier on them, and at long range the sound is very faint and muffled sounding, but my idea for these wasn't really to go long range. Anything over line of sight, literally from person to person, at least for my purposes, becomes worthless. You know, but anyway, had a bunch of requests that I do this. I hope that helps. It's really simple electronics. All you really need is a soldering iron and a little tiny bit of practice with wind, and you can do it. And if you have a question, I'd be happy to help you. Oh, and lastly, I'd like to say thanks for all the birthday wishes for Mrs. SoCal. Very nice, you guys. Appreciate it. She says thank you. I think she's sleeping right now. We just had a big brunch with her mom and dad, and well, what happens when you eat a lot? Nappy time. So, cheers, YouTube. Hope that helps out. Shoot me a PM if you need any help with it. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Take care.